Welcome to Command Combat, everybody. We are fighting around the world using Memoir 44. There are 10 games, and we're keeping score between the Axis and the Allies. The score is tied once again at 4-4. This is Game 9. We have an interesting one today. This is part of the Winter War, where Russia invaded Finland. Even though Finland is technically part of the Axis and was allied with Germany, they were sort of the good guys on this one because they were invaded by Russia and only joined the Axis out of a sense of survival. This is the Battle of Suomussalmi, I think. Here's the title, read it yourself. The Soviet army crossed the border into Finland in the last days of November 1939. On December 8th, they reached the lightly defended village of Suomussalmi. The next day, Colonel Jalman again, here's the name, read it yourself. A veteran of World War I, brought in reinforcements and took command of the Finnish defenses. His mission was to destroy the Russian forces and force them out of the village. A tall order, as the enemy was well supplied and numerically superior. One of Silasvuo's first orders was for Captain J.A. Makinen to set up a roadblock to slow the continuing advance of the Russian 44th Division. While the roadblock operation was being developed, Silasvuo launched an attack against the Russian positions in and around Suomussalmi. The stage is set. The battle lines are drawn. The Finns have ski troops marked with special markers. They are able to move further and still battle. The Russians are primarily holed up in the center, dug in, ready for the attack. The first one to 6 points wins. With all that established, let's get started. The Finns probe on the right, moving into the woods. Hopefully those skiers won't hit any trees. That's how I lost my tooth. The Russian relief force moves in on the dug-in Finns and blasts a lot of them in their foxholes. The Finnish skiers continue by moving out of the woods and assaulting the Russian positions, hitting them hard. The Russians continue their assault and take the Finnish positions on the flank. The Finns do a close assault on the Russian entrenchments and take the positions. It's a 2-for-2 trade, with both having breached the enemy positions. The Russians keep pushing away the Finns, knocking them into the woods and beyond. The tanks hit the skiers hard from the flank, and the artillery tries to finish them off, but can't get a hit. The Finns come back at them with orders direct from HQ. They can't take out their artillery, but they do hit the unit in the woods so hard they have to retreat. The tanks roll in and finish off the Finnish unit, and they continue past, hitting another unit in the rear. The Finns bring in their air power, or artillery, as it is a special rule for the scenario, and take out the remainder of a Russian unit, giving them 3 points. The two sides are tied. The Russian artillery hits the trapped infantry in the town at short range, taking the unit down to 1 stand. The Russians assault the woods, killing a few men, but they battle back, hitting the Russians once, then twice, and annihilating them. The Finns now have 4 points on the board. The Russians destroy the Finnish unit in the town, tying it back up. This is a bloody and mixed up cauldron, typical of any Russian front. The Finns do an all-out assault in the center, causing a retreat in one area, and chipping away on the other fronts. The Russians try to answer back, but the Finns retreat before they can be killed. Skiers still at the front push into the town and destroy the Russian defenders, getting a foothold. They try to break in at 2 other points, but can't chip through the blockade. But they have 5 points. They only need 1 more to win. The Russians again try to answer back, but the Finns are too wily and they retreat, one of them managing to ski far away from the fight, another avoiding being hit altogether. The Finns are ordered to move out, and they chip away further at the edges of the town. Then those who are already inside of it come up behind the Russians guarding the edges, and they massacre them. The Russians are taken out of the town, and the Finns have won this game 6-4. This has been a game that did not disappoint. And so the Axis wins another game, putting this campaign at 5-4. It's coming down to the wire. The next time we'll decide it. Will the Axis come away with a win for the tournament, or will the Allies make it a tie? Join us next time to find out, and we'll see who wins as we're
making movies, making music, and fighting round the world.
Happy gaming, everybody.